What is up, podheads? Back with another episode of the Podioslave podcast. My name is Tony. I am joined, as always, by Anthony. And yeah, what's up, man? How we doing? How we feeling tonight?
Well, you know, because we just spent an hour together.
We did, you're right. Shit. Don't tell everybody the secret sauce, man. Don't do that.
No, we just had it wasn't even a production meeting. It was just kind of a planning meeting. Like you when you start this shit, you don't think that you're going to have like, you know, quote unquote band meetings.
It's so true.
But yeah, it's like we're cooking up some gnarly stuff. Like we looked at what's been pitched to us. We looked at who's on our wish list. We looked at who we're due to have come back. And then you got to prioritize it and balance availability with us, with them. The good news is there's options.
Yeah, we do have options, which is cool. Like, you know, 4.5 years in, there's an email full of stuff to check out. There's cool stuff that we never thought was going to get pitched to us. There's that band around the corner, as you're always saying, that you know, we don't know is coming, and that may happen next week. So that part's been really fulfilling and cool. But you're right. It's like, let's get together, let's talk through this stuff, let's look through this email, because we check it in passing throughout the day, right? But it's nice to be in the moment, looking at it, and make decisions together, as opposed to, hey, did you see this? And it's X, and then like, yeah, I know, but then I got, you know, doing stuff at work or dealing with the family, or you know, you just want to get away from stuff for a little while. It's hard to always be plugged back into the pod, even though Nerdery never sleeps.
It does never sleep. And that is true. Like, there's people listening to this podcast right now while we're sleeping. There's people pitching us stuff to come on and chat, and it's not only just like interviews. It could be, hey, review this, you know. It kind of reminds me of being back in college radio and having office hours, and you know, people trying to get a piece of us, but you know, we're trying to get a piece of people at the same time.
It's true. And like, to be able to talk to any of these people is obviously a dream come true, and a result of our hard work on top of that, right? We've had some good strokes of fortune, and you know, we've done a little work too to get us in those positions. So yeah, hey, thanks for checking us out. If this is your you know, 100th time, 200th time, whatever, there's a lot of work that goes into it, and we really appreciate anybody that does.
Yeah, and that's kind of why we thought to do this. So this is obviously, you clicked on it, you know, it's a mailbag episode. I think it's the third proper mailbag episode.
Yep.
I think we did a flavor of it where we pitched each other questions, right?
We did, yeah. Yep.
We flipped it around. But I think we've had two. And I was looking, one of the first mailbag episodes was super early. Like
super early. And we
was too early.
Friends, and yeah. We didn't know what we were doing. So we just thought, hey, maybe our friends will DM us or put stuff on our Instagram page that we can ask. And that was fun too. This one, we actually had a few people that we don't necessarily know outside of our regular day-to-day life throw us some questions. So I guess that's a sign of progress, right?
I know. And we didn't have to beg, right? I think we did a couple.
A little begging, but not a ton.
We did a couple social media posts, and we got emails, we got DMs, we got TikTok replies. Like, I think I counted them up, but it's like 20 questions. And I read through them, but I did not write down a thing. This is straight off the dome. This is low pressure. It's not preparing for an interview from your favorite band from, you know, the last 20 years. This is answer honestly, answer whatever comes to my mind. And there's some good questions. We appreciate everyone, and we'll shout who sent them.
Yeah.
As we go.
Yep. And they'll probably have been tagged in the episode, either story or I haven't decided yet. We'll figure it out when we get to it. But yeah, I'm excited to dig into these. Let's do it.
And we've twisted everyone's arm to share and to retweet.
Right?
And so you're part of this.
Every little bit fucking helps, please.
All right, I'm going to start us off here. First one is from Al on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I kind of thought was a tough question, but then I thought about it and I was like, no, it's very obvious. Best movie soundtrack.
It's obvious for you.
It's obvious.
Okay. This is a tough one for me. I watched a lot more movies as a kid and into my teens. And then my wife isn't a big movie fan, although we watched one tonight. And she would tell you that the Daredevil soundtrack from 2003 or whatever, that Ben Affleck, Jennifer Garner, Daredevil.
Who's even on that?
Seether, Chevelle, Evanescence, Bring Me to Life. Like, there's some of the time songs. Yep. Yeah. She would tell you that one. I would disagree. It's a good one, but I would disagree. I'm gonna go with The Last Waltz just because the band is awesome and The Last Waltz is cool. It's not, it's a concert video, so I guess it doesn't really count. But I don't know what your obvious pick is gonna be.
Wait, so I don't even know that is that a movie? Last Waltz?
Yeah, The Last Waltz. Yeah, it's about
Oh,
the
wow.
band. The band.
Oh, okay.
Scorsese did it. Yeah, check it out if you've never watched it. It's cool.
Yeah, no, I don't know that one. My obvious one, and it's funny, I mentioned this movie in the Jimmy Eat World episode a couple weeks back.
Ooh,
Do you know what it is?
I don't remember. No.
The best movie soundtrack is Garden State. It's the Garden State
all right.
movie soundtrack. And why I think it's easy, there's no other movie soundtrack that enhances the movie the way the Garden State soundtrack does. In fact, I would take it so far to say that that movie would not be what it is without that soundtrack. That's a huge part. I love that. I mean, that movie, straight up, top 10 movie all time for me. And a big part of it is the soundtrack and the way the songs are placed in the movie. And that's another thing about that soundtrack is the songs are actually in the movie. Some soundtracks, you know, they're not, right?
Right.
I mean,
After the fact, yeah. Great call, and this is definitely up there for me. If I had to pick, you know, like a top 5, I'd toss this one up there for sure. I know my buddy Bert and I would listen to the American Pie soundtracks in his car, just tooling around when we were younger, but didn't the Garden State one. The use of the music and
Use
the
of the
way,
music.
yeah, it's perfect. Like that's a great call.
yeah, because you have Let Go, is it the Fro Fro song, which is Imogen Heap. You got Iron and Wine with the Postal Service cover, Such Great Heights. You got Caring is Creepy from the Shins. Like just well-timed songs that actually put some of those bands and groups on the map.
Totally, and put a bunch of music nerds onto a movie. So it worked for everybody.
Good question.
Cool. That was a good question. All right. Do we want to do the 4-pack from Ben the Viking?
Oh, that's right. Ben the Viking on IG.
Yeah.
Hit us up with 4 questions. You
I'll read you the first one.
yeah, you rattle it off.
All right. So why do some podcasts play full tracks of music, some play portions, and some don't play any at all? And we've done all 3. Right?
We have.
Which is crazy.
Yep.
Over 200 some odd episodes. We played portions of songs pretty frequently through our first 100 episodes. We played a whole Trawl song at one point, and then we played, you know, snippets, and then we played episodes we've had none. And we lean towards none now. I'm going to answer this real quick. It's just if we ever want stuff to be monetized on YouTube, it gets taken down quick. We don't ever want an episode to disappear from a streaming service because we put a song on that, even if it was 15 seconds or less, maybe, you know, gets flagged and gets the episode taken down. We want the stuff to live on. So that's, for me, the reason why we don't do it as much anymore.
Yeah, ultimately, if you don't own the rights to the song, you can't put it on there. And that goes for pretty much any platform. Spotify, YouTube, you have to own the music. Our intro was made for us. The songs that we have played snippets of, we made sure to get permission. But even then, like,
Right.
the powers that be don't know that you got permission necessarily. So,
Well, and then that song may get sold because, I mean, catalogs get sold all the time. Even smaller artists, they could sell their catalog to somebody, and then we put it on a podcast 7 years ago, and then we don't have the rights to it. And they said yes in the moment, but they don't have the rights to it anymore either. So their yes doesn't really go very far. So I think that's the reason you hear bits and pieces all over the map.
yeah, it's risky. And there's podcasts in our world where they've had episodes taken down, as Tony said.
Mhm.
And that's the last thing we want. I mean, we could overcome it, but it's just a pain in the butt.
Yep. If we were Spotify exclusive, which I think some pods are, you can do that way with video too, but we're not. We're trying to be everywhere because we're small and we want people to listen to it. That's why. So yeah. All right, Ben, we get another one from you. Top 5 vinyl grails. I don't have 5. I have 1.
Let's hear it.
The live Tom Petty anthology that came out, on CD. I had it on CD for years. Probably, I don't know, 15 years ago, maybe a little longer. I'd love to have that on vinyl. It's a couple $100. But it'd be cool to just put it on from start to finish. It's like 80 something songs. I love Petty. I grew up. Petty's one of the first like musicians that I fell in love with as a kid. So having that and having listened to it a ton in the past to begin with, having that on vinyl would be cool.
How many records is it? It's like a box set type of
Oh,
thing.
it's huge. Yeah, it's got to be. I bet it's 7 or 8. I'd have to look it up. It's a lot.
And that's a price point where you can't do that a lot. You can't. And in fact, to be completely honest with you, I'm priced out of anything above anything above the normal price at this stage in the game. Yeah, my 5 are all the Crime and Stereo test presses that I don't have.
Nice. Yeah.
So I have Is Dead and I have Explosives. I got the Explosives one through, I think, the recent Blackout pressing. So that leaves Troubled Stateside. That leaves I was trying to describe you. That leaves geez, I'm putting my fan to House in Trance.
You didn't get that? Oh, they did like a giveaway with Pure Noise, didn't they? Yeah.
I tried, and the way they did it is like you'd do. So I think you'd do certain things for more entries, and I honestly got confused by it. So
yeah, we showed our age a little bit there. Yeah, follow us on Spotify. Follow the band on Spotify. Follow
exactly. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I was like, I maybe it's a Discogs purchase when I'm retired and have money.
Yeah.
But now ain't that time.
I want those too, but if I were to get them before you, I'd give them to you as a nerd friend. That's what I would do, because I know they're your favorite band of all time.
And that's if you're listening to this and you have access to those, you know what to do. Send them my way.
DMs are open, baby. All right, what's the next one from Ben?
Next one from Ben, and this is a good one. It's your favorite music-related book.
Yeah.
You want me to start with this one?
Yeah, go for it.
For me, it's an easy one. It's Broken Summers by Henry Rollins. It's one of my favorite books of all time. It's written kind of like a journal. That's like a lot of his books are like that, but it chronicles the summer that he played the whole benefit tour for the West Memphis 3. The three like teenagers that were wrongfully accused of murdering the young boys in West Memphis, Arkansas. And there's a whole album that goes along with the tour. It's a bunch of famous musicians covering Black Flag songs. Like Corey Taylor's on there. I think Neil Fallon's on there. Ryan Adams. It's fucking awesome. But he went on tour. This is probably in the late 2000s, probably, and chronicles the whole tour. And I haven't read the book in like 10 years, but I remember probably reading it 3 times in like a 5-year span. It's so good. That's my recommendation. Broken Summers, Henry Rollins.
I need to read that because you've recommended that to me in the past. So I may need to borrow that from you here in the future. For me, Chuck Klosterman's Killing Yourself to Live. He went around to a bunch of places in rock and music history where maybe bad things happened or were kind of infamous.
Oh, nice. I didn't know that was the premise of that book.
Yeah, and then also like wrote a lot about what he thought about and listened to while he was driving to these places. So it was really kind of romanticizing the road a little bit, romanticizing relationships you had, thinking a lot about death, obviously. Those are things that I think everybody has dealt with in the past. So it hit me at the right time. I probably read that 17 years ago, 18 years ago. I'm due for a reread because I loved it in the moment, and I'm sure I would still love it, but think about it much differently as a 40-year-old man. So, but that one, yeah, Chuck Klosterman's Killing Yourself to Live. Great book. Not super long. Definitely worth your time.
What I've read of his, I really liked, and it's a lot of like pop culture stuff. Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs. You ever read that one?
I did. I've read everything.
That's one I read.
I think everything he's put out. I think I've either owned it or borrowed it from a friend, but I think I've read just about everything he's got out. He even wrote a fiction novel, which was weird but good. But it was not, I like his essay stuff. He wrote a book on the 90s a couple summers ago that was really good. I read that pretty quickly. So he's one of my favorite authors, and that's probably hipster of me to say, but the guy's interesting to me. He thinks about the world differently than I do, so I'm in.
Very interesting. Chuck, if you are listening, open invite on the podcast.
Oh, hell yeah. Yep. He'd be a fun convo. Pitch all your books, whatever. Let's go.
Let's go. Book tour, let's go.
Yeah.
Fourth one from Ben the Viking on Instagram. Top artists you've never seen live, but have been active while you've been a fan. So the question is really top artists that you basically had a chance to see that you haven't, that were around when you were around. I'll go first. It's Quicksand. They weren't active for a number of those years, but they're active now, and I haven't seen them. I think they're playing and have played Boston fairly recently, so there's a chance for me to go, but it just hasn't happened yet. But Quicksand.
Yeah, that's a good one. Man.
And actually, they were on my... we did an episode a while ago of like bucket list live bands. They were one of them. Yeah.
That was a while back now. That's probably pushing... I have to look it up. Yeah, but that's in the early hundreds. which is fucking nuts. Um, for me, top artists I've never seen live that I want to that are active. Well, for a long time it was Blink, and I don't know when this is gonna run, but if all goes according to plan, I'll have seen them at Fenway. That may be a little after this drops, so I'm hoping to knock that one off the list. But Blink was, a band that obviously grew up with, listened to a ton, were active when we were younger, and then I remember, and I think I've mentioned this on the podcast before, and I'm bringing up Bert again, a good friend of mine, him wanting to go down to see them with No Doubt at Tweeter at the time down in Mansfield, Mass. And me saying to him, "Nah, dude, they'll be around. They'll come around again. Like we don't need to." And then they broke up. So,
what year was that? 04?
Yeah, 04 or 05, right around. Yeah, right. Not long after Neighborhoods, I don't think so.
And actually, they both called it quits after that. I think.
Yeah.
You jinxed it.
Huge bummer, and maybe finally rectifying that 17, 18 years later. So 19 years later.
Damn. And that's one thing my dad has always said is like, see him while you can. See them while you still can. And not only while you can, but while they're still good,
Right, because sometimes it can go horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
You get the next one?
Yeah. The next one comes from friend of the pod, frequent guest. I think he's still a leader in the clubhouse, Rob, realtor on the radio.
He's been on 40 times. He's
something like that, yeah. What was your first favorite song?
So I teased this in the group chat with you and Nate.
I know, and I didn't know it.
It's from the early 90s, and it was music video, was all over MTV. And as I think back, it's a great song. I don't know what drew me to it in 93 or whatever. It was probably 93. It's REM's Losing My Religion.
Ooh, great song.
I love that song. Like, no bullshit. I could call up my parents today and say, what was my favorite song in the early 90s? They'd say, oh, it's that REM song, Losing My Religion. Like, it was a thing when I was younger.
Nice.
Like, as a parent to like an 8-year-old, if they latched onto that song, I'd be like, huh, not like a Disney song? That song?
Yeah.
But the great song though.
Probably harder to play Disney stuff back then because you'd have to buy the CD. You can just pull it up on Spotify now. So
it's a great one.
And they're like, we're not buying the CD because then we have to listen to it all the time. And Anthony's like, yes, play something from Frozen. But yeah, that's a good call. And you're right, that video is all over the place, and it was hard to kind of escape them in that time frame. And they just recently did like a reunion thing on CBS and played a show, and which is pretty cool. Now, I don't think that means they're back, but everybody gets back at some point, right? Which is cool.
I made that happen just by thinking about that song.
Nerdvoyance.
Yeah. How about you?
First favorite song is probably
what year? Tease it a little bit.
Same time frame. Yep, same time frame. Record that I've talked about a million times on this podcast. A band that I've seen
around here.
It's not around here, but it's the same record. 93 would have been all over the radio.
Was it the Mr. Jones?
Mr. Jones. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah.
Yep. Second grade, I think we were in when that came out, and I remember being at a friend's house, listening to it before going to walking to school. Just a song. I was on the car, with my dad. It's a song that brings back that nostalgia too. On top of the fact that I was like, all right, music's cool. I want to be part of this. So yeah, Mr. Jones is kind of gross.
I could actually see how that could connect with someone that young. I mean, ultimately, for something to connect with someone that young, it really has to be a catchy song, and it is. And so then just the way the song opens, you just kind of making mouth noises, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm not gonna even do it. I was gonna, and I'm not gonna.
I was gonna.
I can't do it justice.
Yeah, and I don't mean that derogatory. He's there all time. So, and maybe I'll see them coming up here. I don't know if I dish out the wallet.
I've got tickets for that because I bought them as soon as they went on sale in Portland, Maine. So that actually is a good little segue into me not singing. Is a good segue into our next question from Jala on Instagram.
Favorite karaoke song?
Yeah. What is your karaoke song? What's your karaoke song, Swan?
So I've done karaoke twice in my life. The most recent one was like 5 years ago. It was a little song called "Regulate" by Warren G. At a work outing, I did it, and I didn't have to look at the screen. Knew all the lyrics.
Nice.
I mean, you could do the Blink-182 a party song, hands over the eyes type of thing, and you'd nail every lyric, I'm sure.
So, did you have somebody play Nate Dogg?
No, I did it. I did them both.
You did them both. Nice. All right, cool.
Let me
Yeah.
guess. Yours is a Taking Back Sunday song, and you do the Nolan Lazara thing.
Yeah. No, it's not. That'd be cool, but it's not that. It is another. It's a song from that area of the world, of that area of the country, West Coast hip hop. I've
Gin
never
and
done
Juice.
karaoke. No, it's Tupac
Oh,
and Dre,
California Love.
California Love.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I can do that in my sleep. I know every word to that song. Yeah.
Whose verse is harder?
Pac. I think Pac's is harder.
Yeah. Out on
that's-
jail, fresh out of jail, California dreaming. It's much quicker. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's some words in there I'm always like, did I say that right? I don't even know what he said, but yes. I could fake it till I made it with that one to the best of my ability. And I've never done karaoke, but that would be a fun one.
It's funny to see who like gets up for karaoke, because some people that really get into it, others you couldn't. Yeah, they would stiff arm and say, I'm not doing that shit. But some people really put on for it. And it's big in certain parts of the world. And
yeah,
good question. Next question from the same person. Favorite band merch purchase?
That's a tough one. I've got a lot of cool posters, which I think would count, right? That's merch at the merch table. I've got a bunch of cool shirts. I think I mentioned this in a social media post fairly recently. My Rated R Queens of the Stone Age shirt is probably my favorite band shirt of all time because it's one of the coolest like album arts of all time. So I'm gonna go with that. My Queens of the Stone Age Rated R T-shirt.
It's funny, we have kind of the same thought process. Like I could go with a test press, I could go with a gold record, but I have to go with the one where I bought at the merch table, and it's my title fight. I call it like the Patagonia LL Bean ripoff shirt that I have. It's like, guys, I'm almost 40. I don't need like a blood splatter t-shirt. I need something that I can wear out with the kids, So give me a Patagonia rep. Give me a fucking LL Bean rep. The only thing is it's a medium and it's a little slim on me now.
Yeah. That happens. I hear you. I have band shirts I can't wear anymore too.
But I think it's my favorite shirt. I don't know. Maybe I'll cut off this. Actually, that I haven't looked, but I'm sure that could fetch $100.
Probably.
It's a long sleeve. I actually got that at the last Bane show. Well, in quotes, the last Bane show in 2016. Title fight opened.
I have a photo of us and the significant others camping. I think you're wearing that shirt. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I don't know if that'll make the social media. I don't know if it'll make the social medias, but it's out there. If you're friends with if you're friends with me on social media, you could find it.
Well, it shows you deep roots to 2016.
Yeah, right. That was a while ago, and they weren't the wives then, but they're the same people. We're still with them, so
yeah,
we're not that hard to deal with, I guess.
Still here. Next one is from am.huff on Instagram. Favorite cover song? Ooh, I am not prepared for this one, actually.
Me either. It's funny. I'm copping out. Renegades, the whole record.
Oh, there you go.
Rage Against the Machine's Renegades. The whole record's so fucking good. They made every one of those songs theirs.
Oh, and we've talked about Renegades before, and yeah, I mean that whole album's kind of a cheat code. Totally. And it exposed us to certain music, and then you listen to the original, it's like, oh.
And Fuck the Police. Throw that in there too.
Ah, man.
Let me guess. Head PE, No Woman, No Cry.
All right, I'm gonna give 2, and these are just off the dome. No, I don't have any. You know what? Here's the thing. I'm gonna plead the 5th, and I'm gonna go Rage Renegades. As well.
Jump on the bandwagon. There's plenty of songs on that record. Cool. All right, let's move on. We've got Elizabeth on Instagram toss us a couple questions as well. First one: what is the most played song on your phone, or I guess whatever streaming service you use, from 2023? Anthony, what's your most played song?
My single most played song in 2023, and this has been confirmed by Spotify's Wrapped from last year. It's Two Tone Marionette by Nevermind NVM.
Bro, are you on my account?
Oh wait, I'm logged into.
Yeah, no. Mine too. Actually, I think we talked about this at the end of the year episode with Sean. Yeah, we both had Two Tone Marionette. Do we have our top 5s? Let's do our top 5s.
Top 5. And shout out to when we had Mickey and Stino.
Yeah.
On we had NVM on the podcast. Yeah, Two Tone Marionette's 1. Callous by NVM, also number 2.
Also number 2 for me.
Supernatural by NVM is number 3. Pane of Glass off the what is it, the Halos EP?
Burning Halos, yep.
Burning Halos EP is 4, Pane of Glass, and then 5 is Straight North by Koyo.
Nice. So I had Two Tone Marionette was 1, Callous was 2, NVM, and then I had Haunted Spanish Love Songs was 3.
Oh,
yeah, I listened to that a lot. And then You're on the List -1 was 4, Koyo from their record last year.
Oh, yeah.
And 5, Golf is On, Hot Mulligan.
No. Nice.
A great song title.
Great song and great song title.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, cool record from them last year as well. So yeah, those are my top 5 from last year.
And you know what? If I were to look at this year's, I think something from NVM would probably be in there. I've been wearing that thing out.
Yeah.
For a good
I wish
year,
they would give us like a halfway through the year wrapped. Like, hey, this is where your tastes have been, for 6 months. That would help with the podcast.
So it's like course correct if you have to.
Yeah, right. There's still time.
There's still time.
Oh man! All right, cool. Let's the next question that Liz had was the best video game music, which I have some thoughts on this, but if you want to lead us off.
Jeez, I don't even know if this counts, but I would say the Legend of Zelda.
Yep.
Theme music from NES. And like, I don't know, like, is the spirit of this question like, you know how like GTA had real music? And...
Yeah, no, this is more up to the Legend of Zelda.
Okay,
yeah.
So if it's like theme music, then I would go like the Legend of Zelda from NES. But if it's like music, I'd go Tony Hawk, the first Tony Hawk.
Ooh, that's a good call. Yeah.
Goldfinger.
Yeah, it's just loaded.
It's just loaded. Yeah.
Go check that out. And one of the crowning achievements of the podcast was Tony Hawk liking a post that we did. So, but yeah, I would agree. If we're talking music, the Tony Hawk soundtracks obviously just kick ass. If we're talking video game, I'm going with Zelda's up there. I'm going with I could hear the drums of Tetris in my head. Because I am the best Tetris player or maybe partially know my voice.
Or that you listen to.
Yeah, or that you listen to. And then the Fever music on Dr. Mario, because I'm also pretty damn good at Dr. Mario. So
is that when it gets close to the top, the Fever music?
No, there's
okay.
Chill, Fever, Chill, maybe it's Chill. Whatever the second option is on Dr. Mario, that one. That's a good one. Go listen to those and be like, someone had to come up with this, and think about it through that lens. You're like, holy shit, this is amazing.
I like the variety of all these questions. We'll keep it moving.
Yep.
P-Luck on Instagram asks here, what is the most rewarding part of doing this podcast? It's a good question. I'll start us off. I would say the fact that like we did it. You know what I mean? Like that we did it. I was actually thinking about this today. When we started this, and I'm not saying we're a big podcast. We're not. It's just a couple guys having fun here. But when we started it, we had maybe a couple connections, but no one huge. Everything that you've listened to over the last 200 episodes, it's been us. It's been us positioning. It's been us chatting with someone. I think I could say this in past the straight face test without asking it. We've done this without asking a ton of favors, really.
It's true.
I mean, it's not like we're an insider. So I think to look back at the catalog and say we did all that is one thing. And the other thing is just when people reach out, when people reach out, hey, I enjoyed this. That was the whole point of this podcast, was to talk music with friends. And if you're someone who listens, then we've accomplished that with other people too. So.
Well, and I would second that. That's probably my favorite part, is when someone DMs us, or someone shares an episode, or someone stories an episode, and they're like, this is really fun, this is really cool, or it sparks a discussion, whether it be positive or negative, sometimes on Reddit. But that we've had that happen where it's been positive, and out of the blue, they're just like, these guys don't know what they're talking about, but it turned into a cool discussion about, favorite songs on a certain record, and then other people chime in and they agree with us, and it's like, okay, this is all we were looking for, is just a little discourse around a record we love. And then the band around the corner, as you like to say, Anthony, not knowing what might be next. And, waking up tomorrow morning, we might have 15 emails from various things. and then one, it's like, whoa, that one, we have a chance at that. Like,
Yeah.
how the fuck did that happen?
Yeah.
And,
Totally. Yeah.
So those things are really cool that someone takes notice of us in any way, shape, or form, whether it be, a person that doesn't know us sharing something we've done, or getting that email.
Yeah. And I would look at it like every person we've chatted with or every connection we've made, it's almost like having a fishing line out there. You never know what's going to bite. You never know. And I think it's rewarding when you can kind of connect the dots of how someone reached out to you, that type of thing.
Yeah, we like doing that.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if that came from that.
Right. Exactly. Like, or how did that happen? How did they? Yeah. I would say, yeah, just the back catalog and not knowing what's next.
Cast those lines, because if you do, and look back at our Chad Benekos interview, Chad was in Head PE 20 years ago, and he answered us 2 years after we pitched it to him.
That's right.
And we had him on, and it was a phenomenal conversation. He was an awesome dude, and we still DM here and there. I love that guy.
Yeah, you never know. He has a second question, P-Luck. What is one of the coolest things you've learned either how to do or from someone during the podcast run?
Learning how to mess around with audio editing has been cool. I'm an amateur at best with it, but I think we sound decent week to week. And fiddling around with social media stuff and making different videos of the podcast, that's been kind of fun. I've enjoyed doing that.
Yeah, no, I think that's where I'm at too. I would say if you follow us on socials or anywhere or listen to us, anything audio and visual, it's all Tony and I. Have we, outside of the logo, I don't think we've ever outsourced anything.
Nope, I think you're right.
Yeah, so learning Audacity, no one taught us that. I was figure it the fuck out. And then Photoshop, I took a class in college, but I had been away from Photoshop for 15 years. And then
Tattoo the Earth happened.
When we did the Tattoo the Earth, I was like, shit, this free phone app isn't going to cut it. I need to step it up. So I learned Photoshop. So all the episode visuals, that's us. That's all us.
We're self-taught. YouTube, asking friends, asking other people to do stuff, watching as many videos and tutorials on how to make something look and sound good. That's us, man. That's just us trying to figure it out and make it sound as good as possible so people will come back next week. All right, we ready for the next one? Front to back reviews. Curious our stand on Fall Out Boy. Where do we stand with Fall Out Boy? And people either love them or hate them, according to front to back reviews. I don't listen to Fall Out Boy. I've never been opposed to Fall Out Boy. It's funny. I was at work. My summer schedule is different than my regular rest of the year schedule, and I was in a building where there was AC going, which was nice because it's 1,000 degrees in Maine right now. And like 5 Fall Out Boy songs came on. So Nervoyance is real, first of all. Secondly, I knew every word to every song, so I don't need to listen to Fall Out Boy to know Fall Out Boy. Now, Deep Cut's different story, but they have a ton of bangers. I just have never put them on actively. So that's me.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a stan of the first half of their catalog, and that's not me trying to, pull the cool guy card. It's not. From 03 to 08, I think they have one of the best runs ever.
Mm-hmm.
Evening Without Your Girlfriend, Take This to Your Grave, Under the Cork Tree, Infinity and High, and I Could Never Folle Adieu or whatever it is. Those are great, and they're all different. There's an evolution there. After that, they kind of lost me. They kind of got like big room band, kind of lost me. But Take This to Your Grave, 10 out of 10. From Under the Cork Tree, they start to experiment a little bit, but it's a cool question because I don't think we've mentioned them once on this podcast, a single time.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But they're a band. I saw them. How's this? In 2004, I saw them as the third opener at the Axis in Boston.
Wow.
Headliner, Mest. Second band, Matchbook Romance, who we've talked about. What was their original band name? What was
I don't know.
Fizzlewink.
Yeah.
Fizzlewink.
Yeah.
Alex Dunn told us that. And then it was Fall Out Boy at the Axis. And I went, I liked the first two bands, but I actually went for Fall Out Boy, and I met them at the bar. and they
Nice.
I had I had them sign bar napkins for me.
Not your sandal.
No, if you know, you know. But
That's an inside joke that no one will get but you, Anthony. But I don't care.
yeah, yeah, leave that in there. That's great.
I'm leaving it in. Yeah.
Yeah, so I deep roots with Fall Out Boy. After that 2008 album, I never really I heard like the singles and it just wasn't for me. It was a little departure but yeah, overall I'm in on Fall Out Boy.
Yeah, and I don't think I'm out on Fall Out Boy. They're not a band that I ever put on. So, but I know. I mean, Sugar We're Going Down came on, and I know every fucking word. Like it's
Yeah.
they have
Oh, yeah.
bangers. They have bangers. So yeah, I Loaded God Complex, Cock It and Pull It. Fucking amazing line. All right.
Go down. All right. The next one is from Call Bull Chip.
Chip, what's up,
Good
Chip?
to hear from you. Good to hear from you. Chip asks you, and this is a great question, and it's open-ended, which I love. You each get a music Mount Rushmore. Whose heads are on it? Your taste, your rules.
I love that he said your rules because I'm gonna fuck this right up. I'm not gonna put 4 people. I'm gonna have fucking bands in each spot. I'm sure. So, this is a tough one. I'm not sure, man. Like 40-year-old Tony obviously like will look back at what got him to be a fan of music today and say Green Day over my shoulder here. Those guys are a spot. I'm sure Counting Crows are a spot. Man, then it becomes difficult. Tom Petty is probably right there, and Led Zeppelin. Those would be my 4 like spots. If I had to pick people out of it, I don't know that I could.
Yeah, those are great picks. It's interesting. None of those are recent. And I actually I thought about this fairly recently where there's my legacy bands. I don't think they'll ever be replaced in my head.
Yeah.
It would take a new band to come along that just knocks my face off and that is at it for a while. So you took your Rushmore as like all-time favorite bands?
It's just stuff that made me a fan of music that's still doing that to this day, obviously to a bigger extent than I ever thought I would, talking about it weekly, putting up stuff for people to listen to. But those are the reasons that I'm here.
Right on. I took a little different spin, which is awesome. I love the variety.
Your rules, baby.
Your rules. Like you, I was kind of struggling with this. Like, where do I take it? But where I landed was best or my most favorite aggressive frontmen of aggressive music. And these are no order. Zach from Rage, Inside Out, One Day as a Lion, but specifically in the early 90s, Zach, where he was still pissed from the... If you don't know, Zach was in a hardcore band, Inside Out. Google, YouTube, Inside Out Live, Zach De La Roca. He's possessed. He's in his bag, and he carries that to, I would say, through Evil Empire, if you see them live. Yeah. And realistically, he probably carries it with him now, but he's on there. Scott Vogel of Terror, Slugfest, Despair, Buried Alive, that whole legacy. If you've ever seen them live, it's
awesome.
No one's more passionate. No one's more, wants the crowd to interact, more stage dives, move the shit, that whole thing. Pat Flynn of Have Heart. Just, I've seen them in very small rooms, and he was the focal point. I've seen him in massive rooms. He was the focal point. Just untouchable passion and intensity. And then the last one, I got to go with Henry Rollins.
Nice.
I know a lot of people, say he sold out or, he's a try hard, whatever. Go look at his live stuff, whether it's Rollins band, whether it's the Black Flag stuff. It's intense. There's just a passion there that you really can't fake. And if you've read his books, the guy is very regimented. It's not forced. It's him. So I would say those 4.
And not even just, and the music obviously is what got you there, but even his spoken word tour stuff is
Great point.
Intense and engaging. And I've seen him once with you a couple years ago, and the guy doesn't come up for air for 3 hours, and it's phenomenal. Like,
doesn't even sip a drink.
Yeah,
he doesn't even sip his.
It's real. It's all real.
Yeah, so I would put him up there. I think you get it, and that would be. This is one I did think about quite a while, but I think that would be the 4. Great question, Chip. Glad you still listening here and are going to check this episode out.
Yeah, we miss Chip. We miss getting emails from Chip. So here, I'm calling for one now, and I hope that I have one coming up. I'm sure.
Let's do it.
Sure
Let's
he'll
get
do
one.
it. Sure he'll do it. Love you, Chip. Mike in Texas is next. Mike in Texas has been a focal point off and on here too. Been with us from the start, pretty much. He has a good one here. Have concert ticket prices hit a tipping point? He also says Mavs in 5. I'm just going to say, sorry.
I think you got the team wrong. I think the number right. Team
you got
wrong.
the number right. You got the number right, Mike. Yeah. And Kyrie brought a championship to Boston. But yeah, concert ticket prices. What do you think, Anthony?
100% yes, Mike. Absolutely. And I'll use the Counting Crows. Counting Crows is coming to Maine. It's a band this summer. It's a band that I have liked for, 25 years, whatever, 30 years maybe. Never seen them. And when I saw they were coming, I was like, that's one that I would want to go to. And I slept on it a little bit. I don't know that this ticket's available. So I'm bound to like the VIP resale market, and tickets are like $175 each. And I'm out. Like I'm out $100 below. Like that's, and it's not just that show. I mean, look at what happened with the Black Keys, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Those tickets were ridiculous. It didn't sell. Like it's getting to the point now, the literal tipping point where people are out. And frankly, I don't know how some of these rooms are getting filled at these prices.
Yeah, and that I think is my take home from this, and where my head goes with this question is the Black Keys situation. And a couple years ago, when we talked about it in the moment when MGK had his tour sell out in like a day or something, and it's like, no, those just went to brokers, and that room is going to be empty, and it's getting jacked up after the fact. So yeah, my thought is it's gonna hit a spot where your average fan can't go now. We're already there, and it's a matter of just stuff come back to earth. I hope so. Nothing ever comes back to earth, sadly, but maybe a little bit. That'd be nice.
Yeah, and that was a show that my wife was like, "Oh, Counting Crows are coming. We should go to that." So then I'm like, "All right, don't have to twist my arm." And then I thought about it, like 2 tickets, a sitter. Are you Ubering there? That's optional. I mean, are you going to drink there? That's optional. But like the minimum to get there for the night for 2 people with a sitter, $450, $400.
Yeah, it's not going to be cheap. And that's a hometown show.
And that's a hometown show. That's no hotel. Insane. It's too much. Or I can go see Terror at the Cavern for $25. Like that's I can go to 10 of those before I can afford.
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, those tickets when they went on sale were like $60. So if you'd gotten on them when they went on sale, now that's
true.
$200, which is a little more palatable. And that's what I did. I bought 4 of them for my wife, my dad, and my stepmom, because my dad's a huge fan. And I was like, hey, what do you think about Counting Crows in Portland? Do you want to go? And he's like, yeah. I was like, I already got tickets. We're going. So he was pretty stoked. I'm excited about that. But you're right. In the aftermarket, no thanks. I'm not paying $175.
No,
it's crazy. All right. Mike's got another one. You want to read this one?
Yes. He says, hi there, Mavs in 7 here. So
Sorry,
this
Mike.
one must have come after he knew 5 wasn't happening. He says, I really enjoy live music performances on YouTube. I've noticed when I search things like best live rock performance, the top hits are almost always outside of the U.S. And then he just gives some examples like AC/DC in Argentina, Metallica in Moscow. Any idea why this might be? Is it just better venues, more passionate fans? Thanks, guys. I have a quick answer.
Go ahead.
Supply and demand. I mean, it's a numbers game. A lot of these bands, well, AC/DC isn't from the U.S. They're from Australia, but Metallica, Slipknot, they're from the U.S. And all those venues are not in the U.S. It's very rare that they tour those places, and when they do, it's a huge deal or it's a giant festival, and there's a shitload of people, and
it looks wild.
I mean, look at the infamous footage of across the board. It's the Woodstocks, which I know it's not, that's in the U.S., but it's the same idea. These are big shows. Download,
Rock M Ring, that type of stuff. Yeah.
Wherever.
This is a great question for Nate, and I'm bummed that he wasn't able to join us tonight because he would have had a field day with this one. But yeah, it's exactly that. It's that they're not there as much, and we've had artists tell us. The Half Me guys told us this, that we go nuts because that stuff doesn't come to us very often. So when they get it, you got to go. That's and you got to rock your face off and have a blast at it, because it's not necessarily going to come back anytime soon. It might be 5 years between getting to see Slipknot or getting to see whoever. Metallica over there. And yeah, I think that's the big piece of it. And also Celtics in 5. Sorry, Mike.
Seconds to go. Missed free throw. Horford the rebound. Here's Pritchard. He loves these. Puts it up half court to the buzzer. Bang! Pritchard at the buzzer with a three-pointer.
Well, if you've seen like recent Limp Bizkit footage, it looks like it could have been from the 90s. It's huge room, it's huge crowds, and it's I think it's mostly European stuff.
Well, and
Good question, Mike.
Matteo from Super Bloom is Italian, right? And he told us that they're like 10 years behind over there. That's that Europe on the whole is 10 years behind what we have for music and culture. So that checks out with the Limp Bizkit story. So
next one is from a different Mike from TikTok. Favorite album from start to finish. You can't choose a single song from it. It's the whole album or nothing. So basically, favorite album. Mine's easy.
Go for it.
You know what it is.
The Troubled Stateside.
It is The Troubled Stateside by Creme and Stereo. Time and place, timeless music. Hit me then, hit me now. We got a little backstory on it, which maybe we'll have Alex back at some point. But I think that is my favorite. When I really break it down, it's Evil Empire Rage. It's maybe Deftones White Pony. It's Quicksand Slip. But I think it's Creme and Stereo. Troubled Stateside is number 1.
Damn. Yeah, I get that, and having had a front row seat to that conversation with Alex was really cool for me as a friend of yours, and knowing how much that band has meant to you over the years, and being able to do that was a blast. And that record is amazing, and I'm glad that you turned me onto it to listen to it and get into that band, because I love that band now. So, man, this is tough for me. I have a bunch that it just depends on where I'm at, mentally. I go to Lateralis a lot. I go to, from Tool, obviously. I go to, in the moment, Lucy Ford or God Loves Ugly from Atmosphere. I'm not necessarily in the headspace I was when those hit me at first, but they're still all-time records for me, and probably God Loves Ugly if I had to pick one. But it's tough. I really just, tomorrow I could tell you Songs for the Deaf.
Where does Counting Crows August?
That's a top 5.
Or Green Day Dookie? Are those?
That's a top 10. It's 15. Yeah. And those are front to backs too. But like, I can come and go with songs on those. Like, I can listen around here and be like, all right, I'm ready to go listen to something else. I do love that record. But that, yeah. So as a piece of music, God Loves Ugly hit me like a ton of bricks when I got into Atmosphere in 2003. So that's a big one for me.
I love the variety here.
Yeah, man.
Every one we listed were like different genres.
We got a couple more. Wrapping up here. We got Seth. Seth hit us up. You all know Seth. We've had Seth on. He's the bassist of Trawl. The theme music at the beginning of the episode, he helped make. So yeah, he asks, what's your favorite summer night windows down driving album, and why is it White Pony?
Wow. It's funny. When he sent that, I was like, is White Pony, does it fit that criteria? And it does. I mean, think of just the Digital Bath, that like spatial. Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And
Passenger. Roll the windows down. This cool night air is curious. That's a great fucking record. He might be
I didn't
spot
even
on.
think of that. My gun to head first response would be Saves the Day Through Being Cool. Nice. That's Windows Down Road Trips album. And then the other might be self-titled Newfound Glory. Because that's what I did. I mean, that's what we did back then. It's car full of dudes, drive around, and it'd be something like that.
Yeah, those are both great. White Pony's certainly up there. The first Perfect Circle record is a really good one.
Yeah, very atmospheric. Yeah,
Mare de Noms. Some of Nails. I've listened to some Nine Inch Nails that way. It depends. It's more song based. It's not necessarily the album. But yeah, those are. I think those are all pretty good suggestions. On like a warm summer night, I don't mind tossing on like Wildflowers, Tom Petty's Wildflowers. I love that record. So that's another one.
Never listened to it.
So
Maybe
good.
I should.
So good. He knew how to write a song. All right, last one. Ted on IG. For those of us that grew up on 90s and 2000s alt rock, what are some new bands we should consider?
Great question. And if Ted asked me this before the podcast, which he wouldn't, he wouldn't be reaching up for me, or maybe he would have. I don't know.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know that I have an answer. But since this podcast, I have several. Do you have any?
I do, and we talked to Super Bloom earlier this year. That band is awesome. They've been around for a handful of years now. That story's back there. Go listen to the episode if you haven't. But they are like right in that kind of '90s grunge. They fit in that world. You would love them, Ted.
Yep, they were on my list. Super Bloom, them for sure. I would say Teenage Wrist. There's some stuff in their catalog that might scratch that itch for you, Ted. Another one is Super Heaven. So with the super theme, Super Heaven. I would say even some Nevermind, NBM might
Agreed.
be.
Yep.
And then another one could be Fleshwater. I would say they're in that kind of, I don't know, that whole like grunge revival shoegazy whole thing going on.
Yeah, there's a million bands more that do that and are findable. But recommendations from us, bands that we've either talked to or just dig or both. Those are good ones. I'm down for all that.
And then another one is Hippie Trim. I would say this kind of fits in that world.
Yeah, Dog Days is an awesome song. Yep, I would agree with that.
But yeah, Ted, there's definitely stuff out there. You have to dig unless you kind of live and breathe this stuff daily like we do. But there's some good stuff out there.
And hopefully you'll like some of that. And if you do, DM us. Let us know what hit you and what you maybe you found something else that we might like, because we're always down for that too. Anybody that's listening. Cool.
That was it. That was the last one.
Yeah, we did it.
I say that was it. I think it was 20 questions and it was probably an hour and a half.
Yes. I'll cut it down a little bit. But yeah, we appreciate everybody that tosses a question. We appreciate anybody that's listened. And we're back next week with more cool stuff that I'm not even sure what it is yet, because I'm not sure it's scheduled, but it's going to be cool. I'm excited about it.
Or it might not be scheduled, or we don't even know what sequence.
Right.
Anything that we've done. I don't know. That's the fun part about this. You don't know when, how, why, but it's coming.
Yeah. It could be a live episode. It could be us again. It could be us and Nate. It could be, friend of the pods joining back in. You never know. That's every week. There's something new. There's more nerdery to be had and listened to, and we're gonna keep bringing it to you the best we can.
Sweet. On that, appreciate everyone reaching out, and I'm going to bed. See ya.
Me too. Peace, potheads. Thank you for listening to Podioslave. We are at Podioslave on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the places that you can find us on social media. Facebook, Podioslave Podcast. YouTube, Podioslave Podcast there. Email us at podioslavepodcast@gmail.com. And hey, if you want to become a supporter, click on the link at the bottom of the episode and give us $1, give us $5. It keeps the lights on, keeps us going. We really appreciate that stuff. Thank you.
Favorite cover song? Damn.
Papa Roach, Gouge Away.
Oh, is that Pixies?
Yeah.
Okay.
On Love Hate Tragedy, which no one likes but me. But
I think it's okay. Is that a B-side? It's like a deep extended cut thing, right?
It is. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Later on the record.
Gouge Away.
It's not a bad cover.
No, it's not.
This is coming at the end of the episode.
Yeah.